Italian cuisine has developed through centuries of social and political changes, with roots stretching to antiquity. Significant changes occurred with the discovery of the New World and the introduction of potatoes, tomatoes, bell peppers and maize, now central to the cuisine but not introduced in quantity until the 18th century. Italian cuisine is noted for its regional diversity, abundance of difference in taste, and it is probably the most popular in the world, with influences abroad. Italian cuisine is characterized by its simplicity, with many dishes having only 4 to 8 ingredients. Italian cooks rely chiefly on the quality of the ingredients rather than on elaborate preparation. Ingredients and dishes vary by region. Many dishes that were once regional, however, have proliferated with variations throughout the country. Cheese and wine are a major part of the cuisine, with many variations and denominazione di origine controllata laws. Coffee, specifically espresso, has become important in Italian cuisine. History. Italian cuisine has developed over the centuries. Although the country known as Italy did not unite until the 19th century, the cuisine can claim traceable roots as far back as the 4th century BCE. Through the centuries, neighboring regions, conquerors, high-profile chefs, political upheaval and the discovery of the New World have influenced its development. Antiquity. The first known Italian food writer was a Greek Sicilian named Archestratus from Syracuse in the 4th century BCE. He wrote a poem that spoke of using top-quality and seasonal ingredients. He said that flavors should not be masked by spices, herbs or other seasonings. He placed importance on simple preparation of fish. Simplicity was abandoned and replaced by a culture of gastronomy as the Roman Empire developed. By the time the Recocconaria was published in the 1st century CE, it contained 470 recipes calling for heavy use of spices and herbs. The Romans employed Greek bakers to produce breads and imported cheeses from Sicily as the Sicilians had a reputation as the best cheesemakers. The Romans reared goats for butchering, and grew artichokes and leeks. Middle Ages with culinary traditions from Rome and Athens, a cuisine developed in Sicily that's considered the first real Italian cuisine. Arabs invaded Sicily in the 9th century, introducing spinach, almonds, and rice. During the 12th century, a Norman king surveyed Sicily and saw people making long strings made from flour and water called atria, which eventually became tria, a term still used for spaghetti in southern Italy. Normans also introduced casseroles, salt cod and stockfish, which remain popular. Food preservation was either chemical or physical, as refrigeration did not exist. Meats and fish would be smoked, dried or kept on ice. Brine and salt were used to pickle items such as herring, and to cure pork. Root vegetables were preserved in brine after they had been parboiled. Other means of preservation included oil, vinegar or immersing meat in congealed, rendered fat. For preserving fruits, liquor, honey and sugar were used. The northern Italian regions show a mix of Germanic and Roman culture, while the south reflects Arab influence, as much Mediterranean cuisine was spread by Arab trade. The oldest Italian book on cuisine is the 13th century Liber de Cucina written in Naples. Dishes include Roman-style cabbage, ad usum campani, which were small leaves prepared in the Campanian manner, a bean dish from the Marca di Treviso, e torta compositum lundadicum, which are similar to dishes prepared today. Two other books from the 14th century include recipes for Roman pastello, lasagna pie, and call for the use of salt from Sardinia or Chioggia. In the 15th century, Maestro Martino was chef to the Patriarch of Aquileia at the Vatican. His Libro d'arte culinaria describes a more refined and elegant cuisine. His book contains a recipe for macaroni siciliani, made by wrapping dough around a thin iron rod to dry in the sun. The macaroni was cooked in capon stock flavored with saffron, displaying Persian influences. Of particular note is Martino's avoidance of excessive spices in favor of fresh herbs. The Roman recipes include copiette and cabbage dishes. His Florentine dishes include eggs with bolognese torta, Sienese torta and Genoese recipes such as paperita, macaroni, squash, mushrooms, and spinach pie with onions. Martino's text was included in a 1475 book by Bartolomeo Platner printed in Venice entitled De Honesta Voluptate Valetudine. Platner puts Martino's libro in regional context, writing about perch from Lake Maggiore, sardines from Lake Garda, grayling from Adda, hens from Padua, olives from Bologna and Paisno, turbot from Ravenna, rudd from Lake Trasimeno, carrots from Viterbo, base from the Tiber, roviglioni and shad from Lake Albano, snails from Rieti, figs from Tuscolo, grapes from Nani, oil from Cassino, oranges from Naples and eels from Campania. Grains from Lombardy and Campania are mentioned, as is honey from Sicily and Taranto, wine from the Ligurian coast, Greco from Tuscany and San Severino and Trebbiano from Tuscany and Paisno are also in the book. Early modern era, the courts of Florence, Rome, Venice and Ferrara were central to the cuisine. Cristoforo di Messisbigo, steward to Ippolito d'Este, published Banchetti Composizioni di Vivanda in 1549. Messisbigo gives recipes for pies and tarts. The work emphasizes the use of Eastern spices and sugar. In 1570, Bartolomeo Scappi, personal chef to Pope Pius V, wrote his opera in 5 volumes, giving a comprehensive view of Italian cooking of that period. It contains over 1,000 recipes, with information on banquets including displays and menus, as well as illustrations of kitchen and table utensils. This book differs from most books written for the royal courts in its preference for domestic animals and courtyard birds rather than game. Recipes include lesser cuts of meat such as tongue, head and shoulder. The 3rd volume has recipes for fish in Lent. These fish recipes are simple, including poaching, broiling, grilling and frying after marination. Particular attention is given to seasons and places where fish should be caught. The final volume includes pies, tarts, fritters and a recipe for a sweet Neapolitan pizza. However, such items from the New World as corn and turkey are included. In the first decade of the 17th century, Gian Giacomo Castelvetro wrote Breve racconta di tutta la radice di tut herbere di tutti I frutti, translated into English by Gillian Riley. Originally from Modena, Castelvetro moved to England because he was a Protestant. The book has a list of Italian vegetables and fruits and their preparation. He featured vegetables as a central part of the meal, not just accompaniments. He favored simmering vegetables in salted water and serving them warm or cold with olive oil, salt, fresh ground pepper, lemon juice or verjuice or orange juice. He also suggests roasting vegetables wrapped in damp paper over charcoal or embers with a drizzle of olive oil. Castelvetro's book is separated into seasons, with offshoots in the spring and truffles in the winter, detailing the use of pigs in the search for truffles. In 1662, Bartolomeo Stefani, chef to the Duchy of Mantua, published L'Art di Ben Cucinare. He was the first to offer a section on Vittor Ordinario. The book described a banquet given by Duke Charles for Queen Christina of Sweden, with details of the food and table settings for each guest, including a knife, fork, spoon, glass, a plate and a napkin. Other books from this time, such as Galatio by Giovanni della Casa, tell you how scalzi should manage themselves while serving their guests. Waiters should not scratch their heads or other parts of themselves, or spit, sniff, cough or sneeze while serving diners. The book also told diners not to use their fingers while eating and not to wipe sweat with their napkin. Modern era. At the beginning of the 18th century, Italian culinary books began to emphasize the regionalism of Italian cuisine rather than French cuisine. Books written then were no longer addressed to professional chefs but to bourgeois housewives. Periodicals in booklet form such as La Cuoca Cremonese in 1794 give a sequence of ingredients according to season along with chapters on meat, fish and vegetables. As the century progressed, these books increased in size, popularity and frequency. In the 18th century, medical texts warned peasants against eating refined foods as it was believed that these were poor for their digestion and their bodies required heavy meals. It was believed by some that peasants ate poorly because they preferred eating poorly. However, many peasants had to eat rotten food and moldy bread because that was all they could afford. In 1779, Antonio Nebbia from Macerata in the Marche region wrote Il Cuoco Macerates. Nebbia addressed the importance of local vegetables and pasta, rice and gnocchi. For stock, he preferred vegetables and chicken over other meats. In 1773, the Neapolitan Vincenzo Corrado's Il Cuoco Galante gave particular emphasis to the torte pitagorico. Pythagorean food consists of fresh herbs, roots, flowers, fruits, seeds and all that is produced in the earth for our nourishment. It is so called because Pythagoras, as is well known, only used such produce. There is no doubt that this kind of food appears to be more natural to man, and the use of meat is noxious. This book was the first to give the tomato a central role with 13 recipes. Zuppa al pomodoro in Corrado's book is a dish similar to today's Tuscan papa al pomodoro. Corrado's 1798 edition introduced a treatise on the potato, after the French Antoine-Augustin Parmentier's successful promotion of it. In 1790, Francesco Leonardi in his book L'Appicio Modern sketches a history of the Italian cuisine from the Roman age and gives us first a recipe of a tomato-based sauce. In the 19th century, Giovanni Vailardi, chef to King Victor Emmanuel, wrote a treatise of modern cookery and patisserie with recipes suitable for a modest household. Many of his recipes are for regional dishes from Turin, including 12 for potatoes such as Gino's a capon magro. In 1829, Il Nuovo Cuoco Milanese Economico by Giovanni Felice Lurici features Milanese dishes such as kidney with anchovies and lemon and gnocchi alla romana. Giambattista and Giovanni Ratto's La Cucina Genovese in 1871 addressed the cuisine of Liguria. This book contained the first recipe for pesto. La Cucina Teorico Pratica, written by Ippolito Cavalcanti, has the first recipe for pasta with tomatoes. La Scienza in Cucineria e l'arte di mangiare bene, by Pellegrino Artusi, first published in 1891. Is widely regarded as the canon of classic modern Italian cuisine, and it is still in print. Its recipes come mainly from Romagna and Tuscany, where he lived. Ingredients. Italian cuisine has a great variety of different ingredients which are commonly used, ranging from fruits, vegetables, sauces, meats, etc. In the north of Italy, fish, potatoes, rice, corn, sausages, pork, and different types of cheeses are the most common ingredients. Pasta dishes with use of tomato are spread in all Italy. In northern Italy, though there are many kinds of stuffed pasta, polenta and risotto are equally popular if not more so. Ligurian ingredients include several types of fish and seafood dishes. Basil, nuts and olive oil are very common. In Emilia-Romagna, common ingredients include ham, sausage, different sorts of salami, truffles, grana, Parmigiano Reggiano, and tomatoes. Traditional Central Italian cuisine uses ingredients such as tomatoes, all kinds of meat, fish, and pecorino cheese. In Tuscany, pasta is traditionally served with meat sauce. Finally, in southern Italy, tomatoes, fresh or cooked into tomato sauce, peppers, olives and olive oil, garlic, artichokes, oranges, ricotta cheese, eggplants, zucchini, certain types of fish, and capers are important components to the local cuisine. Italian cuisine is also well known for its use of a diverse variety of pasta. Pasta include noodles in various lengths, widths and shapes. distinguished on shapes they are named penne, macaroni, spaghetti, linguine, fusilli, lasagna and many more varieties that are filled with other ingredients like ravioli and tortellini. The word pasta is also used to refer to dishes in which pasta products are a primary ingredient. It is usually served with sauce. There are hundreds of different shapes of pasta with at least locally recognized names. Examples include spaghetti, rigatoni, fusilli, and lasagna. Dumplings, like gnocchi, and noodles like spatula, are sometimes considered pasta. They are both traditional in parts of Italy. Pasta is categorized in two basic styles: dried and fresh. Dried pasta made without eggs can be stored for up to 2 years under ideal conditions, while fresh pasta will keep for a couple of days in the refrigerator. Pasta is generally cooked by boiling. Under Italian law, dry pasta can only be made from durum wheat flour or durum wheat semolina, and is more commonly used in southern Italy compared to their northern counterparts, who traditionally prefer the fresh egg variety. Durum flour and durum semolina have a yellow tinge in color. Italian pasta is traditionally cooked al dente. Outside Italy, dry pasta is frequently made from other types of flour, but this yields a softer product that cannot be cooked al dente. There are many types of wheat flour with varying gluten and protein levels depending on variety of grain used. Particular varieties of pasta may also use other grains and milling methods to make the flour, as specified by law. Some pasta varieties, such as pizzoccheri, are made from buckwheat flour. Fresh pasta may include eggs. Whole wheat pasta has become increasingly popular because of its supposed health benefits over pasta made from refined flour.